Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015, whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the U in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Hey, don't forget to like, listen, subscribe. Thanks everybody that subscribed.
Hit that
all our solid
notification
listeners.
button.
Like my homie Joe Budden says, first and last time listeners. I love it when he say that. But anyways, I want to get into something serious and deep. I had to do a little research on this before I brought it to the people, but here we go. Special task force investigating Venezuelan gangs alleged ties in Aurora, Colorado. Aurora City Council officials say an apartment complex on Nome Street is closing due to code violations, but some council members allege there's more to this story. The Aurora Police Department said it has assigned detectives to a special task force to investigate a Venezuela's gang alleged connection to the city. The announcement came during a city council public safety meeting on Thursday. We have stood up a task force specific to this group, said APD Acting Deputy Chief Chris Jewell. We're actively looking at who they are, what they're doing, how many are there, and what is really what's the reality of the situation compared to what other public information that's going on around it's going around nationally. The gang known as Tren de Aragua, hopefully I said that right, started out as a prison gang in Venezuela and has expanded throughout the Western Hemisphere. Last month, the Biden administration designated the gang as a transitional criminal organization, accusing it of engaging in human smuggling, trafficking, gender-based violence, money laundering, and illicit drug trafficking. In recent days, social media has been flooded with accusations that the Tren de Aragua gang had taken over the Aurora apartment complex. The city is closing near Colfax and Peoria. Those claims have not been confirmed by either Aurora PD or the city of Aurora, but property manager claims the gang has taken over the site. An investor with the property told Denver 7 the site has become too dangerous for staff to work there. Tenants confirm they have not seen the manager on site for some time. We've been trying to get in touch with the manager. He quit, and we have no manager. So this is crazy. So we also have film of them. They broke into a jewelry store. Yeah, looked like kind of like a pawn shop. They robbed it. There's about 6-7 suspects.
Yeah, there's a bunch of women inside there who were working inside there. This guy came in, kicked the door in, pulled the burners on them. It was.
Yeah, they had him run into the back door, and they were like trying to hold it, and one girl's running around scared. I don't know what to do. Then the dudes kicked it open.
She was the last woman in there. You might have had to. I mean, whoever it was, man or woman, you might have had to leave that person out because they was taking too long.
Yeah,
y'all got to hurry up and get back
door.
there.
You couldn't even get the
couldn't get the door closed because of that last person. Then they want to. You know what I mean?
But it wouldn't matter. They had guns. I mean, you holding the door, pop, pop.
I'm not holding the door. I'm trying to lock it and get out the other way if I can.
I'm trying to open it. I can see someone's at the door. I'm just going to shoot them.
Yeah,
pow.
Absolutely.
That's what a criminal me would do.
Hey, it's a bad situation. They took over this apartment. It's basically like Nino. They basically took over the Carter. It looked like the Carter.
City. When he walked him outside with the shotgun to his the Mossberg.
It looked like it, man. They boarded up all the bottom apartment windows are boarded up because they went in there. They're like squatters in there now, so you almost can't remove them. Which I mean, they're gonna have to change that squatter law. If you're a sanctuary city, you need to change all your squatter laws now.
Well, that happened in New York too. Like the people were just going in the migrants were just going into the homes, and then one guy was online. He was like, "Look, man, they got these laws here where if you just go into a house and you stay the night." You live there now, and they can't get you out for so
they
many
arrested
days.
that dude.
They did?
Yeah, I think he was like Venezuelan or something like that, and he was running around doing that.
Making
and
videos.
They ended up arresting that dude. I knew people who were from some of these countries were talking about the dude. I guess he was really popular, like on TikTok. He had like 500,000 subscribers or whatever, followers, whatever that is. And yeah, they ended up arresting him.
Yeah, they had the Venezuelans. They were saying we have a video clip of it where they're at this like Target in their parking lot. And it's right during the election, you know what I'm saying? And so as soon as the election results were read.
The Venezuelan presidential elections.
Yeah, presidential. They start popping guns off in the sky. You know what I'm saying? They took over this whole parking lot. And so, I mean, this is not what people signed up for. I mean, especially in the Colorados, they said they're from Denver, but they're bleeding over to Aurora. They're
saying there's like 390,000 people in the city, in the city of Aurora. They said they let in Denver has let in approximately like 40,000 migrants because they're a sanctuary city, so they're letting them in there. They sent them over there. They've had to cut emergency services to manage costs, which have already exceeded $68 million. I mean, so these are unintended consequences of when you don't vet who you have let into your country. There's just no way. I mean, there's a guy who we were watching on that video. You were saying that he was shooting his gun off in the air. Like, this is a dude right here. You need to go. I mean, bro, you done made it to the promised land. You done made it to America. You know what I mean? You're in the land of the free, home of the brave, whatever you want to call it. And you want to go back to, you want to just start committing crimes immediately because you mad? Yeah, get him out of here.
Yeah, they've been running up in the gun stores too.
Yeah, robbing everywhere,
robbing everything. Yeah.
I mean, so they need to go. You know what I mean? Period. If you come over here and but really, honestly, a lot of it is probably first and foremost is because they're criminals. That's first and foremost. And I ain't type of person like you a criminal, but they criminals. That's what that is.
Yeah, the majority of migrants the majority of people that migrate to America, they're actually law-abiding people.
They want to work. They want to do what they got to do.
They want to live comfortably.
Secondly, you know what I mean? Like, they're probably hungry. They probably don't have a lot of money. They probably, you know what I mean? Because they were saying on here.
Snacks in the jewelry store?
What'd you say? I mean, who knows? But you said that they tried. I don't know if they robbed the gun store and only got gun parts. You know what I mean? Which you can put together a gun with gun parts. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe they only needed the parts.
Well, that was one gun store. I mean, they've been Colorado actually is pretty notorious for people running into these gun stores.
You remember what you told me? It's also I guess they were like prostituting their women.
They're prostituting the women
for $20.
Some guy was giving them subleasing the apartments to a lot of the people and charging them $1,000. And they were like, "Oh, this is heaven," and they were paying the rent. But the guy, they were probably abandoned apartment complexes.
How do you
but
think
they
they was
took
getting
over
the money?
Whole complex. And the people there were like, "Yo, where are we going to live?" They kicked them all out and said it was code violations. But like you said, the person that owns the management of it, he's like, "No, it's gangs." He's like, "That's why I stopped showing up."
I mean, and at the end of the day, you got a lot of these people up here. I mean, they've been kicked out of their country. We talked about that already in other videos. Go look at our Venezuelan videos that we've done, and we've talked about, how unconducive it is for them to live where in their country, and it's partly and it's a large part due to our sanctions, pretty much all due to our sanctions on their country. So it's like, I mean, again, with that same
like we create this problem and then we get mad when the problem comes over to us,
comes home. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, when the person, if you rob me from my TV and I come to your house to want to watch it, am I wrong?
It's like you throwing rocks at a boat to put holes in it, then you got to get in the boat to get across the water.
It's a tough situation,
that's
man.
a weird analogy, but kind of.
I feel you. Yeah. You know what I mean? I knew where you were headed with it. We're gonna ride it out. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man, this is a crazy situation. A lot of people are pissed off, man, because they're looking at this as a Democratic problem, but it's a problem across the board. But we got to do something about this border, man.
It's a Democratic problem. Like, the Republicans were like, look, stop letting these people in. We need to vet them. There's too many people coming over here that we don't know. And the Democrat cities, the sanctuary cities that have no borders to any foreign country was like, hey, those people should be able to live in America and be free. They're like, cool, well, we'll bus them to you. And that's what they did. And now you see what's happening in Aurora, Colorado. And they did it in New York where they were overtaking.
To me, if I'm a city, if I'm like, okay, say I'm Seattle, right? And then they have like a city like El Paso, or I don't think El Paso is even a border city. I forget, Brownsville, something like that, right? And that's kind of your concern. You're a border city. That's who you are. That's your concern to stop people from coming across the border.
Yeah.
That's your job to do that.
Well, Greg Abbott tried. You see, he put up the barbed wire fences. And then Trump had the one law where he was like, look, you got to wait for asylum in Mexico.
Do you know that Trump had more people coming across the border in his administration than Obama did? They called Obama the deporter in chief. That was his name. Yeah. That's what they called him. So he had less border crossings than Trump did. And that also speaks volumes for probably how well people were probably doing in other countries. You know what I mean? For they don't have to leave and come here. I mean, a big part of what happened in Venezuela is because of Obama, but it's also because of Trump as well too, for them sanctioning the hell out of Venezuela and a bunch of other countries to the point to where, it's
not livable.
It's unlivable in those countries. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. I just, we really gonna have to keep an eye on that. You know what I mean? And really,
that's a whole wild thing. They had to shut down the apartment complex instead of dealing with the gangs that are breaking into jewelry stores and gun shops.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. Nuts. I think the apartment complex was probably already vacant.
Denver's a Democratic city, so that's.
I think they're saying
the whole thing is that they start in Denver, but it's bleeding over to Aurora.
Yeah, it's too bad. Hey, what is Telegram and why was its CEO arrested in Paris? Pavel Durov, the founder and CEO of the messaging app Telegram, was arrested in Paris over the weekend over allegations that his platform is being used for illicit activity, including drug trafficking and the distribution of child sexual abuse images. Derov, who was born in Russia, spent much of his childhood in Italy and is a citizen of France, Russia, the Caribbean island nation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and the United Arab Emirates. God damn, this dude's fucking from everywhere. He was taken into custody at Paris La Bourget airport in France on Saturday after arriving from Azerbaijan. In a statement posted to his platform, Telegram said it abides by EU laws and its content moderation is within industry standards and consistently improving. Derov, the company added, has nothing to hide and travels frequently in Europe. They say here are some details about the Derov's arrest. It said Telegram is an app that allows for one-on-one conversation, group chats, and large channels that let people broadcast messages to subscribers. Unlike rivals such as Meta's WhatsApp, Telegram's group chats allow as many as 200,000 people compared to a maximum of 1,024 for WhatsApp. Experts have raised concerns that misinformation spreads easily in group chats of that size. Basically, man, when I'm looking at all this kind of stuff, I know that Elon Musk has also spoke out about this guy getting arrested. I mean, because I feel like you can damn near say that about any app that these things are going on. Like they're like with them accusing him, they're saying, okay, he allows illicit drug trafficking. Drug trafficking goes on Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, sex trafficking. I mean, if you want to call it that, that's going on Facebook.
I mean, what do you think OnlyFans is? We just brush over the part where it's digital prostitution.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of shit going on Facebook. You look at on Facebook, you seeing butt naked ass girls basically on Facebook in their stories. I'm seeing this shit all the time.
Facebook is that people will report you. Like, there's a whole bunch of women that were modeling out here, and they got reported. I think I know which woman did it. The one that ain't getting no shine. I know who it is, but I'm gonna keep quiet because I don't want to say nothing. But they was getting reported for smoking weed on there, showing titties, and I'm like, dang, I think you can't do it. But I be scrolling through there, and I'm like,
it's going down on that motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean,
it's popping.
It's not like going down like on Twitter.
You know, I mean, I'm not trying to like it's going down. This is what the fuck we looking at. I'm saying I see some shit sometimes. I'm like, damn, what the fuck?
I know what I be looking at on Twitter.
No, well,
it pops up. I be talking to my boss screaming through. I'm like, oh, titties.
I'm just saying. I think this opens the door to like, cause basically. Why the fuck? I would never go to fucking France no more. I'll never go there. If I own one of these apps, I'm never going to France. For what? They just can arrest you. But plus, I also think that this is a thing to where this guy is from. Well, he was born in Russia. He has Russian ties. He actually owned like the Russian version of Facebook back in the day. He created that another. It's a whole different app, right? I don't remember the name of it. I can go back over. I could probably find it. But the point of it is, he created a different app back in 2006 that was like rival. Signal. I said with rival Signal. I think it was called it might have been called Signal or whatever it was, right? He created a rival to Facebook back in the day in 2006 when he heard about Mark Zuckerberg. So he was like inspired by that. So he created this app, and he was like, really, it was in Russia. It had a gang of people on the fucking app, like a bunch of people who were on there. It was really, really popular. And I guess the Russian officials came to his house and like asked him to like take. I think this guy, I can't remember the Russian, the guy who ran against Vladimir Putin, and they ended up killing him, like Vitaly something. I can't remember his name, but they asked him to take his stuff off of, or give us his information from your app, or you know what I mean, whatever else. And he was like, no. He did a bunch of stuff to where he was like really combative with the Russian government. So eventually they kind of pressed him, and he ended up selling the app to them, and he came out with like $300 and something million. He sold it for some bread, but he came out with like $300 and something million for himself. And so he started this other app, Telegram, later on down the line. And this has gotten big. But the biggest part about this is he's from Russia. So, I mean, when you look at France, they got a huge problem in Russia because what did Russia just do to them? We talked about it before in episodes.
They took 3 of their trap houses.
They took 3 of their trap spots from them. They took Mali, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria. You can't take this because
you don't like the way another nigga talk. Drive, motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, that.
It's a Snowfall reference for some people.
Snowfall, yeah, absolutely. So, basically, man, this is why they're fucking probably arresting this dude. Like you know what I'm saying? They want to
get all those people, bro, because like think about it. Like when things like especially in France, bro, they were having that whole revolution going on over there, and like especially like Twitter. I remember like a couple of countries they had to shut down Twitter because of this, because the people communicate through. You can see the videos. Like even right now, as we're talking, I'm watching the West Bank getting bombed right now by Israel. You know what I'm saying, on Twitter. Like right now.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll talk about it in a minute, but I'm just saying, like,
is it the West Bank? They're bombing the West Bank, or is it Lebanon?
No, they're bombing the West Bank. Yeah,
like I mean, it's I mean, we haven't been talking about those guys very much. I don't want to get too much off point, so I do want to go back to that. But it's been bad over there too. Israel's been doing a number on Hezbollah, and they've been doing a cold number on the people in Gaza still. They're killing a lot of them still over there as well.
But see, this is the whole thing. That's why they want to shut down TikTok, and they want to take it away from people. Because if you give everyone the freedom, then you can't control what people are doing.
Yep.
You know, and that's why the thing about TikTok's getting sold, and they're trying to pass a law right now where they're trying to revamp the Bible. They want to reintroduce the Bible where it doesn't talk bad about the Jewish people.
Really?
Yeah.
Who wants to do that? Probably the Jewish people, huh?
Yeah, the Jewish people in America. Yeah.
That's a whole nother point.
Got a law passed through the House to take away my freedom of speech, why not keep trying?
Like, man, like what did I heard, this is something I heard. I don't know if this is true. Vet this for me, you guys, as well. But I heard that Trump told Netanyahu not to do a peace agreement because it would help Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
For her chances to win the election. You know what I mean? If this is what we're doing.
Donald Trump said that, and then he also said, don't make a border deal because it'll make me look bad. You know, if for me as a person coming in to be president, I'd be like, no, have them make that deal so it shows that I can be a commander-in-chief on both sides.
Mm-hmm. And because of my presence, pushed you to make that deal happen.
Yeah.
My push for a border thing, this is exactly what I've been talking about. But now let me come in here and actually do the work that needs to be done to secure the border fully, because they're still letting in 5,000 people per day. It says, and there's a lot of ways he could have went about doing this, but he said no deal at all. You don't care about America.
He's like, I want you guys to suffer so I can look good when I do it.
You know what I mean? And at the same time, when you're talking about Netanyahu was like, shit, man, say less. He didn't want to fucking stop bombing anyways. He's like, man, I'm not about to stop killing people until January 19th. I ain't stopping. That's the day before the next president gets inaugurated. He's like, and depending on who it is, I really ain't stopping.
Ain't got to stop. You know if it's the same old people, hey, what's up?
Yeah. Doing a good goddamn thing around here. We about to kill everybody. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's one of those things that we really got to actually keep ourselves in the loop on. But I
want to talk about, where is it now? Republican group cites notorious Dred Scott ruling as reason Kamala Harris can't be president. The National Federation of Republican Assemblies has cited the infamous 1857 Dred Scott Supreme Court decision, which stated that enslaved people weren't citizens, to argue that Vice President Kamala Harris is ineligible to run for president according to the Constitution. The group also challenged the right to Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley to appear on Republican primary ballots. The Republican group platform and policy documented that the constitutional qualifications of presidential eligibility states that no person except a natural-born citizen shall be eligible, or a citizen of the United States at the time of adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to be office of the president. The same document includes former President Donald Trump running mate Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and a list of preferred candidates for vice president. The document and the citing of Dred Scott's decision were initially noted by a lawyer, Andrew Fleischman, on X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah, so basically,
also let it know, like, they adopted the document during the national convention held between October 13th and 15th of last year.
I mean, yeah, basically what they're trying to say is that because her parents were not citizens when they had her in this country, that she should not be allowed to be president of the United States.
Well, it makes her an anchor baby.
Does it?
Yeah, because anchor baby, it's kind of like what they say a lot of Chinese citizens do that. Or Chinese nationals will do that. They'll fly over. This is what I read in articles. They'll fly they'll get pregnant and they'll be like 8 months pregnant. They'll fly to America and then they'll have the baby in America, so their baby's an American citizen.
But that's different because her parents met here in America.
Yeah.
They both were already here. You know what I mean? So they were probably both on their path to getting their citizenship, and then they met. She got pregnant. She had 2 kids when they were together. I'm not sure how long. I think they were married for some time too. I mean, I don't know if I'm calling that the same as somebody saying, let me get pregnant. I'm 8 months pregnant. I'm dropping the baby over here. Now the baby is an American citizen. I think that's a little bit different.
I mean, I know Donald Trump tried to change that during his presidency.
I heard he tried to change that too.
He tried to change that real quick. I mean, because it's like, basically his wife couldn't have been like first lady, but I guess because she's not born in America, she's not even an American citizen like that.
I don't know if they'll consider that only because it's first lady. It's not the president. You know what I mean? They're only speaking about the president. It's a weird thing. This guy had said, I mean,
if you're born in America, you're an American citizen. I can understand if both your parents, but I mean, like, y'all ain't from here either. That's like saying if your great granddaddy came on a boat from Ireland, then you can't be president of the United States. The only people that can be president of the United States is Navajos and people from the Squamish tribe. It
doesn't really make a lot of sense, man. Like I just like it. To me, to me, you're showing who you are. We start talking about Dred Scott cases and using things of that nature for Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley. Now you're bringing those two up as well. I mean, it shows that they're racist across the board. They're like, hey,
remember what they did in Arizona? Everybody. Where they're like, hey, they passed this territorial law back in 1891 where it says abortion's illegal, even if your daddy did you when you were 5. Like,
yeah, but this is like it's showing like what lengths they're wanting to go to and how old and arcane a lot of these laws we have on our books are, and who this country really was and who this country can still be.
Yeah, that shows you racism is really deep, and that's crazy how like people on it, black folks on the internet are arguing like, why should I vote for Kamala Harris? I'm like, well, the other side's trying to erase your history and make sure you don't even have classes in school. I mean, I know one side is going to ignore you, but at least
I'm like this, man.
You know what? Nah, fuck that. This country can burn. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't gonna do that for us, let Trump win. Y'all go ahead and do that.
Like I say, man.
I live in Washington. I'm good.
We ain't never good, man.
Western Washington. Excuse me. Western Washington. In a military facility.
Me personally, I don't agree with what he's saying. I think that Democrats have done a lot. I think there's a lot more that can be done. I think they have a lot more room to work.
They've done a lot for everyone else.
Other than black Americans, you're saying?
Yes, of course.
We say this all the time.
We say this all the time.
You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, I don't.
LGBTQ, they got their own specific laws and protection, correct? Now, think about it. You black. You can't switch that on and off. I didn't know Anderson Cooper was gay until he said something.
You didn't know?
He was cool.
I mean, he's still
him
cool.
Or Don Lemon. I thought Don Lemon was just goofy, but
I didn't know Don Lemon was either. But
that's what I'm saying, bro. You don't know if people are gay until they tell you, because it's a sexual preference.
Absolutely, I got you.
Think about it.
I understand where you're coming from.
It's a sexual preference.
Where you're
got
going
laws protecting them before your black ass.
I mean,
they said, nah, because if we do that,
there was anti-lynching laws. I understand that I'm reaching with that one because it's not the same thing as having. It's not.
They don't even lynch people. Every time they find a black dude hanging, they say he did it to himself.
Yeah,
how many black people go hang themselves? This is something we don't do. You be like, I can't let my family find me like this. Nah, cuz. Not like my great uncle Edward. Like, nah, come on, man. We don't do that shit.
Yeah, so don't get me wrong. Like I say, man, we've talked about this a million times. We go through this every episode, probably.
This is crazy, bro. The reason they won't make laws specifically for black folks to protect us, because if they do, America wouldn't be America no more. America is built off our oppression. Like the whole country, it's like us and Native Americans, and they got to be nice to natives because they like casinos.
We've gone through a lot here. I think we've come a long way. I think we're coming a lot longer of a way too. You look at the last two Democratic administrations. You can say three because. You know what I mean? But it was just one. Obama's was just one long one.
Bro, they killed more black folks during Obama's administration because they couldn't get to him than they did Trump's. Trump just made it bigger.
I don't know about that one. I don't know if that's true or not.
Google it, bro. They was killing us for 8 years,
bro. Somebody Google that
fact.
I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not saying it's not.
Left and right. And we was like, they was like, we can't get Obama. We can get you niggas.
Hey, Russian attacks on Ukraine kill 6 in second day of major strikes. Kiev says. Russian launched missiles and drone attacks targeting scores of Ukrainian regions and killing at least 6 people, officials said on Tuesday, a day after Moscow's biggest air attack of the war on its neighbor. 3 people were killed when a hotel was wiped out by a missile in the central city of Kharkiv, Ria. A regional official said 5 people were injured and 1 person was still missing after the strike. The governor of, I don't know the name of that city, region that includes Kharkiv, Ria, said on Telegram. I'm not trying to pronounce that, but
it's a crazy one.
It's pretty crazy.
Sound it out for the audience.
We're not doing that.
Come on, brother.
Separately,
you can do it. You made it past your desk in the elementary spelling bee.
It is a tough one, man. It's really, really long. But separately, 3 people were killed in drone attacks on southeastern Ukrainian city of Zaporizhzhia. It's crazy. 3 people were also injured in the region, and 4 were hurt in a missile strike on the northeastern region of Kharkiv overnight, local authorities said. But I'm not gonna go too much further than this because a lot of names on here that I can't read. You know what I'm saying? But pretty much, man, Russia after days of, not even saying days, it's been weeks now that Ukraine has invaded the Kursk region of Russia, taking over, you know, hundreds and hundreds of miles of their territory, square miles of their territory. Now Russia has finally kind of like retaliated, and I guess they had a drone strike where they sent out like 200. They said they sent over 200 missiles and drones on Monday. That was just Monday. I think they sent like 80 more like drones and 10 missiles today. You know what I mean? They what they did was hit infrastructure. They hit like power, electrical grids, all that kind of stuff, water, all around Ukraine. It wasn't just like in like eastern Ukraine,
they hit the dam in Ukraine
everywhere.
Because they're saying that they hit this certain kind of this dam. I can't remember what the name was of the dam, but if they hit that, it'll affect 1 million people in Ukraine.
Yeah, they said during Tuesday's attack, Ukraine downed 5 of the 10 incoming missiles and 60 out of the 81 drones, the Air Force said. You know what I mean? So the rest of them hit, and they've been knocking out a lot of their power. What they're saying, what they're trying to do right now, because they said the winter's coming soon, so they're trying to like break the people's will, because it gets cold as hell over there. You know what I mean? So imagine it's freezing cold and you don't have power. I mean, this is where, to me, this is where the NATO needs to come in and help. This is where you can come in and help them fix their infrastructure, at least like jerry rig their infrastructure to kind of keep them from freezing their people out during the winter.
Russia, Ukraine says Russia targeted an enormous dam upstream of Kyiv as part of a massive bombardment. And so they were saying, yeah, if they bomb that bridge, first of all, it's going to cut the water supply for a lot of people, but it's also going to flood the area. And like millions of people will suffer from that, is what they're saying. So, I mean, I would have done it a long time ago.
I mean, me too. I mean, over in Kursk, they're bombing bridges. They're doing. I mean, the Ukrainians are taking it to them right now. If I'm them, I'm putting myself. I think the Americans. I think they're asking for long range ballistic. I'm not gonna say ballistic, but they're asking for long range missiles from us right now. They've been asking for them a lot, and I think we're gonna end up giving them to them. And if I'm them, I'm putting together a 200 drone strike and just sending it into Russia and seeing what we can hit.
This is some BS. It's like two people in the water. One guy's an excellent swimmer, and the other guy can't. He can only doggy paddle. Mm-hmm. But I'm over here handing him rocks outside the pool. Like, here, go ahead, throw another one. I ain't do nothing. Here, throw another one. I ain't do nothing. Acting like I'm not doing that. That's what America's doing right now. You give rocks to the guy in the pool because he get mollywopped by the other dude.
I almost feel like it's like your next door neighbors. It's like 3 houses. Your next door neighbor is getting invaded by the bully across from him, and that bully's looking at you like, you next.
My neighbors be beefing, but it's weird because their kids are best friends. But they be beefing. Like, they go out to blow each other. We all blow the cul-de-sac, right?
Yeah.
We blow the cul-de-sac. But, like, my neighbor, they won't do each other's. They'll do everybody else's but each other's spot. It's just like...
That's what happens sometimes.
And so me and my other neighbor, we got to get out there. I'm like, I don't want these problems. So I just blow it all. Like,
hey, but it's like if your neighbor's having a problem, you know what I mean? And the next door neighbor's like, you know what? You're next. After I get done with this dude over here, you're next. Would you help that person out to kind of prop them up a little bit so by the time you get to me, the fight's a little bit less than what it would be? That's what we're doing right now. They like invaded a sovereign nation.
I told my daughter that. I'm like, this life ain't like the movies where the dude gets shot 10 times, fights 25 people, plus 2 martial artists that are twins, and at the end, he still got time to fight the big boss that's been sitting up there waiting for him for hours.
You feel me? I mean, so...
That's not how the world works. They're going to be worn out. But then it also makes you desperate because then they got big old bombs. They'd be like, fuck it, I'll just nuke them.
Nobody wants a nuclear war because it's the end. Who doesn't? Nobody does.
No. Civilians don't. But if I'm a country I'm about to lose, Vladimir Putin is sick. He has something ill going wrong with him.
Even if he's about to lose, a nuclear war,
just drop the nukes.
A nuclear war shuts down everything. There's nothing. There won't be anything left.
What if you took
period.
the nuke off of it and you just use the bomb, the atomic bomb? You just start dropping atomic bombs.
It's just, I mean, once you take things to a certain level, everybody's launching. Because I was watching this lady. She said basically Russia has like, I think it was like, I don't know if she's the one to say 17,000 or something like that, but it's a whole bunch of like nukes. Like, I don't know if there's 17,000 worldwide. Don't get me. I don't want to get to, but it's so many of them. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of nukes, probably like 7,000 nukes or something crazy like that, right? And we got 44 like deflector missiles, like the missiles that can that can shoot them out the air.
Yeah.
They got thousands of these things. And then we only got a 50% chance of actually these missiles hitting a ballistic missile because they travel. They said basically if you shoot from Russia to Washington, D.C., it takes 26 minutes for that missile to get from Russia to Washington, D.C. They said
are you shooting that over Europe or are you shooting over the Pacific?
I'm assuming over Europe. But I mean, that's probably the quickest way for it to get here. But at the same time.
Is it?
I mean, yeah,
I'd shoot over the West Coast.
to Washington, D.C.
Well, I mean, Washington D.C. is on the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
So you have to shoot all. It depends where they shot it from Russia. That's a good question. That's kind of like driving from one side of Bremerton to the like you're at the.
They're probably not in Siberia. I mean, you got to imagine how big the Pacific Ocean is. Huge. And then you got
huge,
that's gonna fly over.
But so is the landmass from Russia over from the Atlantic to Washington D.C.
It's not though. It's not really as big. I mean, honestly, Europe's not even a real continent, man. It's not. It doesn't. A continent is defined as a piece of land that has water on all sides.
I mean, would you risk? I mean, I guess you would.
And so
risk
it's not even that big, man. Europe is really
Asia.
small.
No, it wouldn't even have to go up. It'd have to go straight. It'd have to go like over Africa
You know
or
what I'm
whatever.
saying? So
I guess I would say that way because there's no one to deflect it. Like I don't think you could shoot a missile over the West Coast and we're just be like, we're knocking out the sky. Fuck
it just takes a lot longer. But I mean,
goodbye, Kentucky.
And even then, you look at it, if there's only 44 of those, so only basically 22 of them are actually going to knock some out there. Nobody wants, so imagine what we already have pointing at them. Nobody wants a nuclear war. That's like almost off the table unless something catastrophic happens.
Or your back gets too bent up. Think about it. You put a man in a corner.
How is he in a corner, though? Think about that.
No, but when you get him in a corner, think about it.
He's not in. I'm not trying to.
Not yet, right now.
He's not in a corner. He's not going to be because in reality, Ukraine doesn't want the land that they've taken from him. They're just taking it so they can trade off for the land you took from them. This is my stuff. But also, it's
like this, bro. It's like, look,
that's how they feel about it.
Your population is dwindling. You need a war to spice some things up. Now you're losing a lot of your male population.
Hold on.
I'm saying you're losing a lot of your male population. Then you're about to lose control of this country you've been ruling for a while. And who knows what the people are going to do to you if they catch you? I'm throwing nukes. Fuck it, I'm going to die anyways. I don't care.
You lose everybody. You shoot nukes.
Look at America.
China's going to come.
These people would rather burn this country down than give it to the minorities.
Do you know what China? I understand what you're saying, but yeah. I think other countries would intervene to stop that. Because we understand that's it. That's game over.
Yeah.
If the nukes start dropping from everybody out here, it's game over. Too many people with money, like, man, hold on. We ain't trying to have that happen.
Because their money wouldn't mean shit no more.
You feel me? You know what I mean? They're just like us. They're going to hide in a hole somewhere and hope they got enough gold to deal with it. They're like, man, somebody knock him off, man. I think they get rid of Putin before they allow that to happen. Putin, they love him and everything like that, but at the same time, they're like, bro, you're kind of old already.
I love him, bro. I mean, everybody that try to oppose him is dead.
Yeah,
or in jail.
Pretty much, man.
But also a special thing, Trump indicted again in federal election interference case following Supreme Court immunity ruling. Former President Donald Trump has once again been indicted over his effort to overturn the 2020 presidential election loss, an effort that accumulated in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. A federal grand jury on Tuesday returned a subsequent indictment that charged Trump with the same 4 counts he faced in the original indictment last August. Conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. Obstruction of and attempt to obstruct an official man, this guy crazy. The new indictment was returned following Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity last month, which barred the government from using certain official acts Trump took in his role as president in his prosecution. So they switched it up. So they said instead of it saying former President Donald Trump, they just put Donald Trump running for president.
They switched the name out, so they probably so they don't have to call him that. They probably makes it a little bit worse to try. I don't know, worse to try and convict somebody. Keep on calling former president, like, you know what I mean? Because right now you don't even want to give him the respect that he's due. I feel like out of all the cases that he had, this is the one that to me is the worst one.
Yes,
this was. I mean, in my eyes, I didn't care so much about the 34 felony one. I'm like, I don't care about that shit. Nobody gives a shit.
Well, I mean, the Georgia ones. That's crazy. They still got the lady trying to see if she can still even attempt to prosecute him.
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, and the thing with the espionage, I get it. We do need to get our files back. Deal with it how you have to. If you had to charge him, charge him. But him trying to overthrow, a lawful election, that right there is, I mean, people died. I mean, you had 9 people who died subsequently from the result of what happened that day. If you watch the videos, you got officers stuck in doorways yelling and screaming. You see officers beat, you know what I'm saying, getting thrown back over, like pick your homie up and basically throwing them on the ground. I mean, this is the kind of stuff this is the thing that we really need to be paying attention to, is that right there. Because if we allow him to get off with it, what do you think the next president's going to do? You know what I mean? If it's me, I'm like, I'm willing to do what he's willing to. You know what I mean? Basically, we go get paid thugs or whatever you want to call them and have them attack American Capitol, man. Come on, bro.
It's crazy,
Let's
too.
be real.
It's like they have, look, it's like gone from the succeeding indictment are the sections that detailed Trump's conversation with Justice Department officials in which he alleged to have asked them to support his false claim of election fraud. Former Justice Department official Jeffrey Clark, who backed Trump's claim and was almost named acting attorney general, has been removed as an unindicted co-conspirator. Prosecutors also removed references to advice Trump got from a conversation he had with direct advisors in the Oval Office, like White House counsel Pat Cipollone, and reference to some of his tweets from that period. Think about it. They have so much evidence, they can still take some out and they put it in front of a grand jury, and the grand jury was like, yeah, he's guilty.
I mean, everybody, if you guys go watch the January 6th, the panel, the committee on this, you're going to see that he's guilty. They're spelling it out for you. Everything's right there in black and white, man. He did it. We all know he did it. We watched him do it.
We watched him enjoying and dancing in his tent while they were doing it.
I didn't believe that it was going to happen. Somebody told me before this happened. Like, how do I know? I mean, like Tupac said, how you know? How does somebody, just a random person, know? He's like, man, he ain't leaving office and something big's about to happen on January 6th. How did this person know? And I ain't trying to put him in a situation where we're talking about it, because a lot of people knew about it. So don't even look at it like that.
It was a whole
Everybody knew.
conspiracy.
You guys knew. The government knew. So if these people knew, the government knew. Because you guarantee you they're looking at a bunch of these people who they arrested are on government watch lists, or probably being watched by the feds, the CIA, whoever else was watching these people. So don't try to act like, who's this person? No, all of y'all knew this shit was about to happen. Period. Y'all watched the messages going back and forth. They weren't using encrypted shit. This was everywhere.
They're using their cell phones.
I mean, he was talking about
Because
a
they
person
thought they
talking
were
about
gonna
this
get away
shit.
with it. That's the whole thing. It's like they didn't care what they were doing. Now they're like, oh, a lot of them are snitching. They ain't built for it. They thought they were like, oh, we're gonna get away with it. It'll be fine. Oh, election's stolen. Then they were like, oh, I gotta go to jail.
1,400 people so far have been charged.
I gotta go to jail with the niggas.
1,400 people so far. I guess, the one dude got like 25 years or something like that. The one dude from Proud Boys, like the leader or whatever.
Yeah, he was an
They gave him
informant, though.
25 years.
He was an informant.
He still broke him out 25 years. He must have didn't tell enough. He should have told some more. That's what it was. You got the 25 years. You probably should have told some more. You feel me? He should have. I mean, I was keeping it real. You know what I mean? Shit, you got 25.
Like, yeah, whatever, Muhammad.
You know what I'm
He's like, I'm a proud boy.
Hey,
He's
listen.
like, yeah, you're proud to be Muslim, huh? 25 years, sucker.
Hey, I like this, man. If you
Prescott.
telling that's what you do for a living, because I don't condone it, but I'm saying if that's what you do and you still get 25 years, it wasn't a good deal. You got a bad deal.
At all. How the fuck you gonna tell on people and still get 25, bro? That don't make no
25,
sense.
bro. I mean, what was they
What
trying?
was
What
they
was they going to give you? The triple life plea bargain? What
They're like, look, we gonna give you 30, right? But if you tell on these 10 people,
we gonna give you 25 years. But the people he
good time.
probably told on ain't probably with street
ain't
stuff. You know what I'm
worth
saying?
nothing.
At all. You probably just told on whoever probably told on Rudy Giuliani. He probably told on
He's
everybody.
like, my mailman said he was down for it. He said his boss, his best friend's uncle's cousin said he agreed with me too.
Let me go into this one section right here. We want to talk about some things that are kind of like that's been going on. It's like 3 separate cases where police involved shootings that we've spoke on one of them from before, but the first one we want to talk about is second ex-Memphis cop pleads guilty in Tyree Nichols death case. Nichols, 29, was stopped by members of the department's Scorpion Unit, a tactical street team, on alleged suspicion of reckless driving on January 7th. Evidence later disproved the claim. At one point during the traffic stop, he attempted to flee on foot before being brazenly battered by Martin and 4 of his colleagues. The father of one was minutes away from where his mother, Roe Vaughn Wells, lives when the interaction unfolded. He passed away days later on January 10th from blunt force trauma to the head. Nichols' death sparked national outrage and protests and cries for justice and police reform. And so I guess 2 of the officers who beat Tyree Nichols, 2 of them just pled guilty to the charges. And so like this has been a pretty long case going on here. It happened in 2023. You know what I'm saying? But it's been a case in Memphis for a while where they just beat this man pretty much for no reason. You know, this is what a lot of officers are being able to get away with.
They were a task force, and there were a certain kind of task force, and they were known for this, actually, just driving around beating the crap out of black folks.
Yeah, they said the officer pled guilty to his use of excessive force and witness tampering. You know, so I guess basically they all just probably lied to each other. You know what I mean? Hey, not me, lied for each other. Like, hey, you say this didn't happen, but you beat this man to death. You beat him to death. That's not an easy thing to do, is to beat somebody to death. The human body is pretty resilient. You can beat somebody pretty good, and they'll still get up.
They have I remember watching the video.
Beat the dog shit out that man. You know what I mean? For no reason. But to move on, I mean, another case right here.
Held him and punched him in the face.
Beat the shit out of him, man. Okay, now remember, we also spoke about the former Florida sheriff's deputy who fatally shot black airman at his home, turns himself in. So remember the case about the black airman who was at his house when police came there because a neighbor had said something about basically there was a domestic disturbance at the house. And from what they're saying here, a former Florida sheriff's deputy charged with killing a black U.S. Air Force senior airman who answered his apartment door while holding a gun pointed toward the ground was arrested Monday, officials said. Former Okaloosa County Deputy Eddie Duran, 38, was charged with manslaughter with a firearm in the May 3rd shooting death of 23-year-old Roger Fortson. Assistant State Attorney General Greg Marcel announced Friday. The charge is a first-degree felony punishable by up to 30 years in prison. Duran was booked into county jail Monday, records show. Marcel confirmed his arrest to the Associated Press. He did, in fact, turn himself in, Marcel said on a telephone interview, adding that Duran's initial court appearance will be via video link Tuesday morning. He will be held in custody pending his initial appearance. An attorney representing Duran did not immediately respond to email seeking confirmation.
And so with that one, like the cop went to the wrong house.
Yep.
And then he knocked on the door, and then he was covering up. I don't know. No, he didn't cover up the peephole. He moved to the side.
Yep.
And so the area is already known for people doing B&Es, which are breaking and entering, armed robberies. So the guy answered the door. He was a military dude, so he answered the door with his gun because someone's knocking on his door and then moving
you
away
can't
from
see
the
who
people.
did it. You can't see who's doing it.
You can't see who's doing it. So you answer the door, and the cop didn't even give him a chance.
Yeah,
it says
according to an internal affairs report of the shooting, Duran told investigators that when Fortson opened the door, he saw aggression in the airman's eyes. He said he fired because I'm standing there thinking I'm about to get shot. I'm about to die. You know what I mean? So
not even to put the gun down, just pop, pop, pop.
At all. He didn't ask him to put the gun down at all whatsoever. Also, they say records of the 911 call shows deputies had never been called to Fortson's apartment previously, but they had been summoned to a nearby apartment nearby 10 times in the previous 8 months, including once for a domestic disturbance. So it's also that he went to the wrong apartment because people, what they did was they stopped him out on the street. Like, he came over because they made a call. They stopped him out near the headquarters or whatever in the apartment complex. It was like, hey, let me take you over here, and kind of pointed him along to where it was. They didn't tell him exactly. It wasn't like, hey, that house right there. They kind of said on this floor because people it wasn't the person who called. I don't think wasn't even there to tell him which one it was. You know what I mean? So this dude kind of assumed and went over here and ended up killing somebody. But they're saying that it's never the policy. If your person can have a gun in their hand, it's not the policy that you can shoot them because they have a gun in their hand. You never asked them to put it down. You never asked them any question at all. So you just basically started shooting as soon as things, as soon as you felt like you start busting. That's pretty much what happened here. You know what I mean? So this is another officer, involved shooting to where another black person is dead. And the other one was the Tyree Nichols case was black people who actually beat Tyree Nichols to death. Yeah. Those were black officers.
Just to add on to those, you know what I'm saying? There's one I wanted to put here. Boy 8 drowned in water-filled pit by 11-year-old bully who held his head underwater. You know what I'm saying? This the child he was lured there by his name is Noah Bush. He was lured there by 2 children and the child's mother and another grown man were there. Mm-hmm. They drowned him. They basically this is the lynch. They lynched him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Young black kid. They purposely brought him down there to lynch him. And now see they didn't even name it as lynching. They gave the little 11-year-old boy 2 years. 2 years, and he admitted that he did it. He got 2 years. But also, I just want to point that out there. They got this kid, Kadeem Holland, a.k.a. Baby K, got 25 years for attempted murder because the gun jammed. He was in the bus.
Is that the one where I saw that? I saw that.
The kid. And I'm like, hold on. That kid, he wasn't even that old. He's like 14.
Yeah, I saw that. He walked up on the bus. He was going to blow the kid's head off with the gun.
Him.
It was a pretty much a cold-blooded murder. He was
15 years old, right? He didn't kill nobody. He was
going
to do it,
the
right?
Gun didn't, he didn't even shoot the person.
He tried.
He tried, but the gun...
It's attempted murder. It's attempted murder, but he's 15. He don't get another chance at life?
Yeah, they broke him off, and they gave the other little kid 2 years.
They gave the other kid 2 years for premeditated lynching.
Yep, and then they tried to cover it up too at the same time.
Yeah, no, they covered it up.
His
the
parents and everything helped him.
Yeah, the
didn't
police
his parents
didn't do
help him?
nothing. The parents had to take it to the federal authorities for them to pick it up.
Did the parents get in trouble? Because remember you were saying that the parents were walking down the street and they were hurt on a ring cam or something like that?
The mom got sentenced too because the mom was waiting for him. The two little boys lured him down there, and the mom and another white adult was down there, and they lynched this little boy. That's what they did. They lynched him. They have him on the ring camera talking about the little boy's like, he's dead, huh? And the mom was like, shh, be quiet. And the cops didn't want to do nothing. The parents had to take it to the federal authorities and keep pushing to the public, and they still only get that little boy 2 years.
I mean, this next one, man, real quick.
Yeah.
Judge rules Breonna Taylor's boyfriend caused her death, throws out major charges against ex-Louisiana officers. A federal judge has thrown out major felony charges against 2 former Louisiana officers accused of falsifying a warrant that led to police to Breonna Taylor's door before they fatally shot her. U.S. District Court Judge Charles Simpson ruling declared that the actions of Taylor's boyfriend, who fired a shot at the police the night of the raid, were the legal cause of her death, not a bad warrant. Federal charges against former Louisiana Police Detective Joshua Jans and former Sergeant Kyle Maney were announced by U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland in 2022 during a high-profile visit to Louisville. Garland accused Jans and Meany, who were not present at the raid, of knowing that they had falsified part of the warrant to put Taylor in a dangerous situation by sending armed officers to her apartment. Wow, bro. They falsified the warrant to get them to go to the house, man. That is crazy. I didn't know that part.
When the system breaks the law, it's okay. But when you break the law, you got to admit to what you did. You got to man up and do all that stuff.
Dude,
they killed this woman for no reason, tried to lock her boyfriend up, and they wanted him. They told the boyfriend, we'll let you out free as long as you say that she was selling drugs. He refused to do it, and they had to let him out.
They said, but Simpson wrote in Tuesday's ruling that there is no direct link between the warrantless entry and Taylor's death. Simpson's ruling effectively reduced the civil rights violation charges against Janice and Meany, which had carried a maximum sentence of life in prison, to a misdemeanors. So basically, he's saying that because y'all falsified a warrant to go into someone's house and they got killed because of a false warrant, that you're not responsible for the death because that boyfriend shot his gun. And you didn't even announce yourself, nothing. What is anyone else going to do if they hear somebody bust into their house at the middle of the night and it's you? If it's just you, but it's you and your girl at the house, what are you going to do? I'm going to shoot too. They're saying, man, this is.
And think about it.
Man,
they want to give the police total immunity.
They've already given them immunity. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but they've basically given them immunity right here with this case right here. This is a perfect example of why black people, especially, do not trust law enforcement at all whatsoever.
Especially since we had old girl in Illinois.
Are you serious, man?
She called the police and they killed her. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? What we going to do? We're going to keep y'all updated with everything that goes on here, man. Uncommon Courtesy. We're going to see y'all tomorrow.